So welcome everyone. I'm super happy that you're all here. It's quite a big information webinar, so we're super excited that you found the time. And my name is Eva. I'm part of the EIC Scaling Club, and I will be sharing a couple of slides with you to just share more about the club. Let me start sharing. I suppose you can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So let's start. The EIC Scaling Club is the Deep Tech Impact Initiative of the European Innovation Council and the member states. And in a nutshell, we want to boost very selective deep tech scale-ups to grow very rapidly. And we have an unparalleled program for the next 2 years to deliver that. Behind the EIC Scaling Club, we are a consortium of partners: Techtour, BPI France, ERA, IESE, Webrasi, and Hello Tomorrow, aiming at strengthening the EU deep tech ecosystem. And again, we're very thankful for your time today on this webinar and happy to dive deeper into the program. The agenda would be the following. I'm going to explain a little bit more about the club, where we're now, what's in it for you, what's next, and then we're going to open up for Q&A to answer any questions you might have. So our mission is to foster a brighter future by supporting top tech entrepreneurs in creating innovative solutions to tackle the world's most pressing challenges, including segregation, misinformation, climate change, security concerns, health challenges, AI, and many more. And we will be uniting the top ecosystem players, from VCs to corporate innovators. I'm just going to ask everyone to just mute because I think somebody is talking. Okay, thank you. So we will unite all the important ecosystem players, from VC to corporate innovators, government agencies, independent board members, mentors, media, and many more, all guided to make a lasting positive impact on society through technology and collective action. So together we're going to select 100 Series A and B companies with the potential and ambition to grow their valuation over the next 3 to 5 years to over 1 billion euros. And of course, it's a debatable marker, but it just serves to showcase the level of ambition that we seek in companies. And it's all about building world-class businesses who will develop impactful solutions for the global challenges that our world is facing today. And at the heart of the creation of the EIC Scaling Club is our strong belief that our future is built by entrepreneurs, and especially in today's time, deep tech entrepreneurs. So the whole program is based on the sole question: is this helping the entrepreneurs? And if any of the actions that we're going to do in the future are not supporting the entrepreneurs, we're going to omit it. So we're aiming to build a very solid program. So we are exceptionally honored to have you with us. And as I mentioned, we're going to select 100 companies, and we will have 500 stakeholder members around the companies, the key ecosystem players. So investors, corporates, mentors, government agencies, funds of funds, and also other like partners and talent seeking companies. And going over the eligibility criteria, which we'll be very strict with. The total previous funding will be minimum of 7.5 million euros for a specific set of countries. We're going to, of course, send you the information so that you're aware where it actually applies. And also 5 million euros in Horizon Europe widening countries and associated countries equivalent in terms of R&I performance. The latest round of funding should be after the 1st of January 2019. Grants are also accepted, so we're very flexible on that note. The headquarters should also be in a specific list of countries, so Euro 27 and Horizon Europe associated countries. And then, of course, within the scope of the market groups, which I will share with you in a little bit. So now I'm going to move on to where we are now. We have already started the EIC Scaling Club. We have already started with working on the first 4 segments that you see here on the screen. So next-gen computing, smart mobility, digital security, and trust in renewable energies. So we've already launched it, and now we're launching our second cohorts of market groups to form a group of 120 companies in total, so 20 more than obviously 100, just to make sure that we are also following our own KPIs. So the groups that we are launching now are New Space. This is actually in the digital related market. We have 2 health related markets that we're starting, so cardiovascular therapies, new biotech platforms, and also we have 3 climate related markets: batteries and energy storage, clean fuels and hydrogen, and then agro and food tech. Here is the group management. Most of them are here with us on the call. So we have Yasmin, who is a group manager of clean fuels and hydrogen, Etienne on agro and food tech, Mark on agro and food tech, Marwan on batteries and energy storage, Nicolette on new space, Jan on new biotech platforms, and Marcia from cardiovascular therapies. You should have already received emails from them. Of course, if you have any questions, we're going to send you these slides afterwards. With all of the contacts, and feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. As mentioned, we already launched the 4 market groups consisting of 48 carefully selected companies. We already have 180 club stakeholders and mentors. You can see some of them on the screen. We have Intel, Logitech, Siemens, Mid Capital. We have HDBI from Greece. We have also Jolt Capital, which is one of the biggest deep tech funds. So basically, of course, this image is showing only a few of the members. The full list can be found on the website. But we are extremely honored and excited that we are working with all of these stakeholders, mostly on partner level. And we're very well connected, so we'll be super happy to share these connections with you and really help you in any way you can to develop your own companies. Here is a list of the selected ones, and as I mentioned, 4 of the groups that we have in cohort 1. And on the next slide, you'll see just a short summary data. So the companies that we already selected have total amount raised of 1.37 billion. The average raise per company is 28.5 million. Average raise per round is around 6 million. And there are 414 active investors within these companies. And of course, we are as this is an EIC project, we are very keen on ensuring geographical and gender diversity. So they're headquartered in basically all parts of Europe. So what's in it for you? We're inviting you to apply for EIC Scaling Club. And what you're going to get out of it is basically we're going to connect you with lead investors. I think the whole consortium partners is having connections with more than 150,000 investors. And yes, there are that many. Also partners and corporates and all of the stakeholders that I mentioned. So we're going to find the mythical lead investors and also co-lead investors for your funding rounds. We're going to help you form a solid board. We're going to connect you with potential partners and customers. So we're not going to just, create a list of people that you want to meet, but we're actually going to to connect you with them on roadshow of activities, of on-site and online events. Also, we're going to invite you to work with mentors that are very selective. For example, we have one of our mentors that we're working with. He's on the board of more than 100 companies. He did 3 IPOs in the States. So the mentors that we are super proud to have in our club are independent board members, most of them, and are very well connected with great Rolodex and super passionate about basically the sectors and just helping also the ecosystem. So you're going to be working with them on insights, on your stories, your pitch, your go-to-market, and also financials. And also creating an investment pitch deck and also business one. And we're going to really dig deeper to understanding your companies first, and then building a strong path for you so that you can really overcome any challenges and obstacles that you may have. Of course, we're going to boost your recognition and valuation. And also we hope that, we would bring value to you, investment, business development, and also strengthen your leadership. So in a way, you can think of us as your external business development team. In terms of the mentoring, more or less to give you a kind of like more or less how much time it's going to take you, it will be around 16 hours. You're going to have optional sessions because we all know that you're very busy. So we have created a minimum of 16 hours, optional sessions, and then also additional participation. We're also organizing live events where we're going to invite all of you to participate, to come there and really meet each other face to face with the mentors, with the stakeholders, the investors, the corporates, the potential partners, and also everyone behind the EIC Scaling Club. So we're going to organize the Scale 100 Forum. I'm going to share with you the dates in a little bit. We would ask you to have minimum of 4 sessions with the mentors to address your challenges. Of course, you can have more than that if you find the time. And also you'll have an option to attend other company sessions because, fostering the relationships between CEOs and between company representatives as you're in the same boat, so to say. It's always a great opportunity to speak with like-minded people who are in the same situation as you, basically. Also, as I mentioned, we're going to create a target list, personalized and tailored to your business. And then we're going to work hard to meet you and open the doors for you. In terms of roadshow and events, basically there are 12 hours with optional sessions and additional participation. So we're going to organize investment events online and on-site, partnering events online and on-site. And we're talking mostly about Europe, but also outside of Europe, because many of you, I'm sure that you're thinking about expanding, whether it's to the US or anywhere in the world. And also we're going to create a lot of ecosystem webinars, workshops, and everything that basically is important to you. In terms of communication and PR, we will ask you for 6 hours. We're going to have Communications Academy. We're going to help share your story through interviews and also surveys and other publications. So we're also going to heavily work on your PR as well. It's important also to say that it's free for the selected entrepreneurs. And it's around 5 days, so around 40 hours spread across your team. And we will ask you to have several team members of your team participating because depending on the case, maybe in the mentoring session specifically, the CEO would be best to be there. But then for other session like communications and PR, maybe it might be better to have the marketing person. So we would ask you to join in with several people from your team and then spread it. So yeah, it will be around 5 days spread. And of course, the more time you invest, the more benefits you will receive. Next steps are simple. We would ask you to apply. It's a very simple application process. You just need to attach your pitch deck and fill in a very simple application form. Then we're going to actually share the results of which companies are selected end of September. And also here, because we are organizing the ignition event, let's say, or the Scale 100 Forum, it's going to be on October 21st and 22nd in Athens, Greece. It's still going to be warm, so I think we're going to have a good time. But it will be important to save the dates. And if you're selected, we will let you know end of September. So you're only going to have, let's say, around 20 days to plan your trip. So make sure to save the dates for the event. And then the mentorship is going to start in, let's say, between January and February 2025. And we're going to start with the active events or so-called roadshow in October next year. And of course, you will be able to renew your membership next year in October. So now I'm going to open up for Q&A, and hopefully most of the things were clear, but happy to answer any questions. Yeah, I see some stuff going on in the chat. Andre, you raised your hand. Would you like to share?
Yeah, I would like to ask about the application date because if I remember correctly from the email, it was Friday in this week or Saturday. From the slide, I noticed that it's end of June.
Yeah,
It is correct. So it is extended or?
it's extended, yes, and we extended it to 28th of June.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. And also maybe it's important to say that we have done it before. So this is actually the second iteration of the program. We've been working on EIC scaling up, and we've been doing that for the last 2 years and a half. So this is the second program, and it's twice the size of the companies. And the plus and the good thing about this program is that we will have 50% companies that are funded by the EIC, and the other 50%, it can be any company. So we're not having any, it can be any company basically. So we're more open this time, and which means that the quality also of the selection will be higher. So, Jorg?
Hey, thanks for the presentation. I've got a question regarding the timeline. So they were saying that the mentorships will start in January, February, and the roadshow in October next year. So when will you connect us to investors?
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, in the mentoring sessions, a lot of names will start popping up. So when you're dissecting, your business model, go to markets, and names of potential people that we will connect you to, will happen as soon as we start the mentoring sessions. And also, since some of you, the selected companies, you will probably, some company A will have to fundraise the next 2 months, but then
Yeah.
company B would raise, in a year. So we are also adapting ourselves to you so that we can make it worthwhile your time. But of course, the main connection to partners and investors will happen on the roadshows. However, you will start on the 21st and 22nd of October already, because
Okay.
they're already going to invite many of the investors and corporates. So you will start October, then you
Yeah.
have a couple of mentoring sessions, and then the solid networking would be in the roadshows.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Sue?
Yeah, hi. Is this mainly an investor lead generation service, or what is the main purpose of the scaling club?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. So since we are already working with the first cohort and we've done this before, it's actually both. Of course, it's very, we're good in, finding the specific investors because we're well connected on that side. When it comes to partnering, it's a little bit more challenging because every single company needs a specific person in a specific large organization sometimes. So it will take a little bit more time to really find the contact that you seek at the level that you want and that would be useful for you. But we are also handling this. It just takes a little bit more time, of course, but it's both partnerships, clients, and investment.
Thank you.
You. Okay, Anais?
Yeah, thank you very much. I was just wondering if you have a company size limitations. What type of companies you're looking for in terms of number of employees or revenues already, this kind of details. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, of course, when we're talking about deep tech, we don't have any quota for the revenue because a lot of the companies have not even reached break even yet, and we understand that very well. So the only, let's say, financial, let's say, threshold we have is the 7.5 million to 5 million. And also, let me just go maybe share the slide. That's the only threshold that we have. Let me just share my screen again. Because we had cases in the previous program where some of the companies already raised 150 million, they were raising 300 million rounds. These are probably a little bit, they have different incentives to join the program, and their incentive usually is more on, let's say, fundraising that big of an amount and also visibility. But usually the companies that would benefit most out of this program are around Series A or Series B. So the only, criteria we have, the official one, is minimum 7.5 million and minimum 5 million. And probably it's important to say that the biggest criteria is whether you have the capacity to grow the next 3 to 5 years heavily. So this is the main criteria, which is of course subjective to the subsector. But we are seeking for companies with big ambition to become the leaders in their own field. Hope that answered the question. Okay, thank you. Eva?
Hi, thank you for the presentation. I'd like to ask a little bit about the mentoring track. So how do you usually pair up the companies with the mentor? What is the agenda of the mentoring? So can we come up with challenges, or do they have a kind of content that they deliver? Maybe sometimes can a team member join those sessions? So as it's the biggest time investment, I would like to understand how this is structured.
Yeah, thank you for the great question. So we were working a lot on, for years on how to exactly set it up. And also my colleague Yasmin here on the call really perfected it. So the way it works is, as I mentioned, we have first 4 sessions that are mandatory. Of course, anyone from the team can join. The important thing to say is most of the mentoring sessions, everyone there is under NDA. So we are actually developing a very safe space because a lot of sensitive information is shared there. So everyone is personally under NDA. And usually the way it works is the first, of course, first you meet with the mentors on the event in October. So you meet face-to-face with the mentors. We're organizing like many sessions. So because, face-to-face contact is very important. Afterwards, we will start with a company deep dive. So all of the sessions are around an hour. You present your company and you have a lot of questions at first. And on the second session, we need to identify, let's say, 3 or 5 challenges that you have. Whether it's fundraising, partnering, go-to-market, whether you are wondering whether to expand in the US or expand in Asia, or whether it's like an even more specific problem. So we choose officially like the main challenge. Then the third session is diving deeper on how to tackle that challenge. And then the fourth session, it's an open session. So we do a contact exchange. So basically, it's kind of like a brainstorming. You say, hey, this is my challenge. These are the people that I'm looking for. Can anyone say, tell me an idea or a contact that they believe it's going to be worthwhile for me expanding my business? So that's the fourth session. Then we have a fifth session, which is perfecting your pitch, whether it's an investment pitch or partnering or business pitch. So more or less, this is we have very structured sessions. And of course, because the mentors are, I have to say, quite cool. So if you're willing to do the work, even if you're super busy, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. And if you actually share the pitch deck before the session, you will have more productive session. And usually, maybe just to share something from the kitchen, a lot of the companies are a little bit hesitant on first sharing that much regarding their financials, which is normal, and we understand it because trust takes time to be built. But if you really, as I mentioned, we're under NDA. we ask you to be under an NDA. So if you already start, sharing as much as you're comfortable with, the sessions are going to be way more productive. And between the sessions, we give you time so that you can already incorporate the feedback from the mentors. So you actually build up on every session.
All right, and just maybe a quick follow-up question. And the pairing up with the mentors, which I understand would happen in Greece or by the Greece meetup, is it within industry or location or geographic location, or what is the main factors how you actually pair up the startups with a specific mentor?
It's expertise.
Expertise.
Yes. So we usually, of course, for example, when we're talking about new space or when we're talking about next generation computing, we are, you can already see on the website the level of the mentors that we have. We're super proud. So it's mainly expertise based. And of course, we ask all of the mentors if they have any conflict of interest. So we also take that into account. So it's expertise, and if there's any conflict of interest, we are very strict on that. So that's another point.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, I mean, I always say this, we try to make it fun. I mean, it sounds very serious because it is, but then at the same time, we really, listen to you, and we take your feedback. We have very annoying 1-minute surveys after each session. Because we're very strict on really understanding whether what we do makes sense for you, and we really work hard to adapt to you as well. So it's a dynamic work. Andrei?
What are the main selection criteria for the companies?
So the criteria is the funding, the latest funding rounds, and the scope. Of course, you have to, if you are willing to apply, you have to be within the scope of the market groups, which are general, I would say. And I would probably advise is a strong word, but I would, if you want to have a higher chance of being selected, I would advise that you put more information and not just send a general deck. So of course, show the team, show if you're, maybe some financial projections or some financials, show who are your current investors, maybe your sales targets. I mean, you need to show that you have the ambition that we're seeking and we're discussing. And I think that would be the main criteria.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
Is it okay if I
please
jump in?
do. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, Lorenzo. My name is Nicolette. I'm managing the space group. I just wanted to build up on what Eva said and to say that in the application form, you will see a link where we have added 2 suggested presentations one is supplied by one of our mentors, basically on how to prepare your slide deck to apply. And also to say that we are now in the application nomination processes. They're going simultaneously. So as soon as we get the application, your application would go to our selection panel per se, which is the investors and corporates within the group who will be evaluating your slide deck. We will then aggregate the results, and we will go together with the selection panel to a review meeting where together with the investors and corporates, we will pick the 12 companies that will be selected to join each group. So it's an entire process. We had, for example, more than 130 companies that applied for the first 4 groups, and we are looking at very good numbers right now also.
Thank you, Nicolette. Yes, it's important. Thank you for adding that. It's you're going to be evaluated basically by corporates, investors, funds of funds, so people that are used to these kinds of presentations. So, Lorenzo?
Yeah, thank you, Nicolette. Actually, Nicolette, you kind of answered the question I was about to pose. So my understanding is that the pitch deck that we're going to share is going to be evaluated and used to get into the EIC Scaling Club, but at the end of the day, it's also going to be seen by investors. That would mean that it's the same pitch that would go and be sent throughout the roadshow, or it can be edited throughout the time being. How does that work?
Yeah. So of course, it's important to say that when you apply your deck, nobody's going to be under NDA. So that's important to be noted.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, when we start the mentoring sessions, where you're going to have the safe space under NDA. So of course, this would, it will depend on you, but there is always a way around to, prove your. It's important to probably also note your milestones, and you can find another way to prove that you're aiming for a high growth.
Yeah, actually, if I can continue and add on that, the point is actually this one, because I wanted to understand is if the deck was just going to be used for the selection process, or if it was something that, would have gone through investors as well, and you answered to that. My understanding from the first question that was asked is that the deadline has been pushed up to 28th of June for handing out all the documentation. So we kind of have a little bit more time to edit the deck, I guess.
Yes.
Fine. I think is more than about it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I see people smiling on the webinar. Wow. That's great. Because when we put the naming information webinar, it doesn't sound very magical, but okay. Any other questions? Yep, please go.
Yeah, again, sorry. One thing Nicolette was saying is it's going to be only a cohort of 12 startups, isn't it? So is 12 people to get in out of the whole applicants, or is 12 by vertical?
12 by vertical.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Of course, if you have any other questions, you can always shoot us an email. But we're going to be super excited to work with you and receiving your decks, and hopefully work together over the next year and more. And we are really passionate about what we do, and hopefully we're gonna really make it worthwhile your time. But okay. So there are no more questions. I think we finished 24 minutes earlier, so it's a good sign. And yeah, Lorenzo, go.
Last
please
one,
go.
sorry, 'cause, at least I'm gonna make the best out of it. I've seen that there is a sort of structure where each slide is like pitch 1, pitch 2, pitch 3, so each slide has a point. Does it really make a big difference if we do not compress all the information of each point into a single slide, but we kind of navigate you and the investors as well throughout multiple slides? Because, for example, I have a biotech company and I cannot really put all the solution into one single slide because there's a whole process out of it. So I don't know how strict is the number of slides, or if we can kind of stretch it a little.
Yeah, of course you can. It's just to be used as a guideline, and also I think making the exercise of putting one. It's something that we usually have. We have that discussion in many mentoring sessions, because the exercise of you putting something on only one slide is actually very valuable and very, it's tricky, but it's something that, of course, you don't have to do now in the application process. But it might be nice because you know how usually people screen through decks. So maybe if you focus maybe on just one slide and then just use the structure as a guideline, I think you'll do great.
Thank you.
Okay, so feel free to ask us any question over email, or we can always schedule a quick call if needed. We're flexible, and I'm wishing you a great week ahead. And it was a pleasure to have you all on the call. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.